And welcome back to Career Build Series, episode 227. And so I've been kind of building this off screen, and eventually I'll release the videos so you guys can see the build if you like. But so what I decided to do was have kind of an issue with some of the way they set up the logistics here. And so one of my favorite things to do is take containers with Proteus from the south up to the Arctic. And the issue there is the Arctic's container port is BVG. And there's pretty much three main ways to access it. You can access it by sea, you can access it via helicopter, or you can access it via rail. And so it really makes too many steps to get a container up there with Proteus and then get it to BVG. And so I can't get there directly with Proteus. So what I decided to do was I do have the Rotodyne, which can move containers, but it's jet fuel. With the new Industrial Frontier DLC, there is some, we'd have to move a bunch of jet fuel, so we have to move jet fuel up there. So the logistics become more and more complicated, and the jet fuel is more expensive and, in some ways less efficient. And I kind of build my things to be a little bit more efficient. So, turbine aircraft are going to burn more fuel. And so, so I decided what I'd do is I build this diesel tandem helicopter. It's the first tandem helicopter I've built, and base it off of Katydid to make it kind of quick and easy to put together. And so what I'll do is we're currently at Dreimor down by Spy Cakes, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this helicopter. We'll fly over a couple containers from Spy Cakes, bring them here to Dreimor, put the helicopter away. I'll spawn my loader, and then Proteus, I'll load 2 containers into Proteus. Then I'll be able to fly Proteus up to Tajin in the Arctic. I'll be able to unload Proteus, and then I'll be able to spawn the helicopter and transport those containers from Tajin to BVG in the Arctic. And so I think that'll be fun. So let's go ahead and get moving. So this is definitely the testing phase for this. I've tried to do this video like 3 or 4 times already and had issues with setting up procedures and getting it up and running. So first thing we need to do is we'll turn on master power. All right. And we'll go ahead and turn on our nav beacon. Next thing, I'm going to release the rotor brake, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start. All right, so we're up and running. I'm going to go ahead and click on the gyro. And do I have a trim in? No, I don't. I have a trim in there. All right, and so let's start going here. And so we're going to drag. I have my container mover already on the... oh, you got to be kidding me. Did we already do that? Here, let's just do this. I kicked that up and hit myself here. Let's go ahead and spawn it one more time. Nothing's easy. Especially with the new build, you have to work the bugs out. So I'm going to go rotor brake off, beacon, master power start. Turn on the gyro. And so we'll start getting out of here. I'm going to go in first person so I don't screw this up. I don't know why we have some yaw going on there. Again, I just integrated this. I made this up work, and then what I went ahead and did was I started importing all Katydid's panels. I started actually doing a live video, and I didn't do it for very long, and then I finished it off screen. It was just, cutting up Katydid, putting panels in, and then I have to make sure it runs properly for this helicopter. And so having a little bit of a yaw issue, which I will fix. So I'm figuring all these things out. So I'm gonna leave the gear down while we operate. I'll show you the gear just because they're a little bit snazzy. So let's go ahead and kick the gear. As you can see, nice folding gear doors. Oh, those are broken now. Awesome. That's just probably electrical issues, but for the most part this is going to have the gear down while it's operating. As you can see, we have a cable and 2 ropes set up that allows us to twist and rotate the container. So let's go over there and let's move a couple containers, and hopefully I hooked everything up. So bunch of hooking up problems, but that's to be expected anytime you do this sort of thing, and especially porting in a different vehicle. So we have a camera here that shows me my carriage underneath. Looks like some containers out in the bay. That's one of the reasons why I used to keep natural disasters off all the time, was It was obnoxious, and I don't want to deal with tsunamis pushing containers off, and it looks like that's what happened here. But let's check this minimal amount. What happened here? There used to be some decoration. I think somebody said that they redid this over here. There used to be some decorations there, but alright, they changed it. Alright, so we have a meager amount of containers here. It looks like we have some floating out there. If need be, we'll try to go rescue those. That could be some interesting gameplay. We have a friend here. I'm going to go ahead and land this. So I want to make... Let me see if my winches work. They do. Okay, so I'm going to give myself a little bit more slack. Alright, so the speeds need to be changed. Okay, it looks like the up-down's not working on the other ones. That's awesome. So... And the up's not working. Awesome. Okay, I have to double-click it. That's fine. I'll fix that later. I will fix that later, but I'm just kind of seeing where I'm at here with... I have to double-click everything now, so... This is a different winch setup. This was the winch off of the doors for Katie. So I have to play with that to get it working better the way I want it. So making a long list of things to fix. Again, any new build's gonna have its bugs in it, and you're gonna have to fix. You know, it often seems like I have quite a bit of sympathy for the devs, and I do, because this is the issues I have with just my own builds. I can't imagine what it's like doing the whole game. So rotor comes off, rotor brake goes on. And that should be breaking it. I made the number very small, so yep, that's better. I just made it slow down 1/10 of the speed that it was. It was stopping too abruptly. So if you don't know how to do a rotor brake, you just hook a tire up essentially, and then you put the brake on. What do I want to do here? I'm trying to see. So I changed where my door is. That Katie's going to get the new door button there. Let's go ahead and check this out. I want to find 2 BBGs. This could be thin. What is F? Okay, FJ Warner here. BBG coming with me. So that's 34. That's good money. FJ Warner. FJ Warner's not even a bad price. Let me check these. These I can go snatch up out of the water if need be. That's Komodo. What are you? They should be floating in real life with jet fuel in them. It's essentially diesel, so it would do it. Okay, so... might go over to Spy Cakes or Komodo and grab a second one. So we have one. Let's go ahead and grab this. So let's go rotor brake off. Let's go ahead, engine on. So already kind of making a list of things I need to fix on this. It's a lot of integration stuff that needed to be done. So, I always expect there to be some bugs. Like I started to say was, I do have a lot of sympathy for the devs and the bugs and people, why aren't the bugs fixed yet? I look at just my own builds and the amount of time, and, it is their full-time... Well, it's actually not their full-time job. They have other games as well, which, even if it was their full game, you gotta expect there could be bugs. There are long-term implications with fixing certain bugs. You fix one bug, you might cause issues with something else. Plus, if you're planning an update, somebody on Reddit was talking about it and made a good point. They're like, if they fix X bug and they're adding, say, a new major update, it might be better to wait to fix that bug till the new major update's out. And then, you have everybody and their brother, different groups of people who want different things. And so they're doing a pretty good job of prioritizing the different communities and what they want, And so, for example, I don't play any multiplayer. Now, I would like a multiplayer update, to be better, which I believe is our next update, actually. Multiplayer optimization. But I play very little multiplayer. I play a little bit on Fridays after the Workbench podcast, but that's about it. And so for me personally, multiplayer fix doesn't really interest me. I play solo most of the time, but I understand that's a huge part of what the community would like to happen. And so, I don't poo-poo other people's fun and what they enjoy and what's important to them. And so for a lot of people, multiplayer is incredibly important. So I don't poo-poo that notion of them spending time fixing multiplayer. Are there a lot of things I would rather them do? Yes, but I certainly understand them prioritizing that. And so sometimes they prioritize something I want, and then you'll get people poo-poo, you know, that thing that I want. And so I try not to do that. It's, you know, we all want different things for the game, and so it kind of have to do it. You know, they do a pretty good job of spreading around. You know, I do very little trains, but I do enjoy them from time and again. And you know, they'll come out with something that's very good for the train community. And you know, if you don't use trains, it seems like, oh, they haven't done anything for me, and they didn't do this, and this. You know, they're terrible or whatever is what people say. And you know, I tend not to have that attitude because, you know, when you poo-poo somebody else's fun, you know, you never know when somebody's gonna, you know, crap on what you find to be fun. So let's try out the autopilot here. So little mini rant over, but you know, that's just kind of my notion on it. Was, you know, I understand people have different priorities, what they would like, and the devs, you know, can only do so much, and they're doing what they can, and you know, I have sympathy for that. All right, let's do that. Let's go ahead. Let's do heading hold. Okay, heading hold. I don't want heading hold. I want... This system's different. Okay, you're in, right? Waypoint's in. It's heading bearing. Why are you going over there? Okay, what's it doing? I plugged something in backwards, I think. So altitude holds can go up. I'm just testing all this out. This has not been done at all. So let's undo that. Let's go. So that's bearing 7 miles that way. So it's not reading where I want it to. The bearing should be up there, like a low headings, like maybe even reciprocal of that. So GPS could be screwed up. Compass could be backwards. Compass is showing 0. That's what it is right here. So compass probably isn't plugged in properly. All right, so I'm going to have to manually run this. That's fine. You know, again, making a list of what I need for this. You know, this is to be expected. So I'm not a huge fan of running containers with a helicopter. You know, it's a lot of fun. I do enjoy it. It's fun, but it's you know, not very realistic. And I tend to like some realism. You know, I think one of the ways that I have fun in game is with constraints. And so, you know, people wonder, well, you know, why don't you use an electric radiator? The electric radiator is the most, you know, efficient, or the electric radiator cools the best. Well, you know, for me, sometimes, you know, I want to use something else. I want to use the other parts, or I want RP. Like, this is air cooled, you know. Reasonable chance you're air cooling an engine like this. You know, so I have this in Proteus air cooled, you know, and if it caused me a problem, I'll change it. But, you know, for now, it's working. And a lot of it for me is RP. You know, people are like, oh, why don't you make that plane go 500 knots? And it's like, because it shouldn't go 500 knots, or, you know, that type of wing wouldn't be sustainable at 500 knots, or stuff like that. So it's kind of, you know, having some of these constraints is good for me. It's like, you know, I built that little helicopter, the Gnat, and it does not have, well, it kind of has a pretty good range now when I change the fuel system on it, but you know, it has a bunch of limitations, and those limitations make it so that I don't use it all the time. Like, you know, I could build this helicopter here so that, you know, it would make katydid obsolete, you know, but I don't want to do that. I want to still use katydid. Katydid has its uses. This has its uses. You know, I was almost going to, when I started building this, I was going to make it so that it had no cabin. It was just going to be a utility helicopter, and it ended up with a cabin. And could I use this for rescues? Yeah, sure. It's set up for that, but, you know, I still want to use katydid sometimes. And so, you know, a lot of this is, the answer is because fun. You know, and so at the end of the day, the point is to have fun. And so is doing X, Y, or Z going to be fun for me? Yes or no? You know, and that's kind of the answer, you know. And so, you know, I kind of have to deal with that. So, you know, it's what I find fun at the time, especially, and build some vehicles that will do these different jobs. And so I like to make them specific for the job. You know, one of the expressions that I always go back to is jack of all trade, master of none. Is, you know, essentially it means that you can make something that does everything okay, Or you can make some, you know, so it's a jack of all trades. It can do every job, but it's not a master of any of them. It can't do any of them really, really well. And I don't want that. I want something that's a master of its trade. I want something that does its job very well. Is that the container port? Okay. I forgot that they changed it, made the tracks go past Komodo. I haven't taken any trains up here since they did Industrial Frontier. You know, so I build in limitations to my vehicles, and some people think I'm crazy for doing it, but it's you know, it's realistic. You know, it's you know, Katydid does not do a good job of lifting anything heavy. Katydid cannot handle the Bambi bucket full of water and then move fast. Katydid has a 12-cylinder engine in it. This has a 48-cylinder engine in it. You know, this is going to be much more fuel hungry. This is not going to be good to go do a ton of rescue missions. You know, it'll still be reasonably economical, but Katydid is very economical. So, you know, Katydid is going to be the better one for doing those rescues. This, I'm not putting any rescue winches on this. So this makes that so this is not good for any of those rescue jobs. You know, this is mainly going to be a transport helicopter, either containers or some people. You know, if it's a land mission where I can land, maybe I'll do a rescue with it, but that's going to mostly be Katie's forte. And so Katie is the master of its domain. This is going to be the master of its domain. You know, like the Rotodyne is great at containers. It can move them very fast, but it's hungry. It eats a lot of fuel, and I want it to eat a lot of fuel because that's realistic with the turbine, and it's also... it makes it so that, you know, it gives me a reason to build something else and to use something else and to kind of choose a little bit more deliberately what I'm doing. Okay, let's try to park next to that. Okay, I was trying to extend the, so I should be able to go to ground idle. Parking brakes are on. I don't know if the ground idle's working, but I'm going to find a container. Make sure I don't jump out of the rotors. What do we got there? Sawyer South. South. You're in freight. Spy cakes. Spy cakes. BVG. There's one right there. Let's make sure there's not one better. 31. BVG 21. Yuck. All right, so this is our one here, is BVG for 31. So that's, I think the other one was in the neighborhood of 31. So we're talking 62,000. You know, we'll probably burn about, say, 1,500 diesel in Proteus to get up there. And so I don't know where we're at on this yet. So this one we've actually burned about 50 gallons, I think. This is pretty fuel hungry. I'm not 100% sure how fuel hungry it is, but... you know, when I put it back in the workbench, I can tell how much diesel it ate. And so that will kind of, you know, inform my profitability there. So I'm trying to run some profit numbers on this. So I'll write all that down. And so that's one of the reasons to do this is my profitability really starts to go out the window when I use the Rotodyne for these things. Rotodyne is pretty good for actually doing the whole trip from down south up to the Arctic. It can go about 200 knots with a container. So it's much faster than Proteus. Because it's twin turboprop, you know, and it can land right at BVG, so it has its benefit, but it can only take one container, which cuts down its profitability. It's burns a lot more fuel. I think it burns like, you know, where Proteus is burning, I don't know, maybe like 1,500 liters. I think that might burn probably 6,000 to go up there, you know, so it's much more fuel hungry, and it's carrying half the containers, so it has its purpose, but it's not, you know, you selected, you're not. Okay, you should be grabbing here when I get close. I'm going third just so you guys can see it, but should, the connector should be reattaching. Let me see what's up with them. Let me cycle this button. Try to set the... trying to set a hover here. Let me just do this. So a lot of testing on all these builds. Release connector false. Okay, so it should be connecting. That's good. Okay, so it's just I want to make sure my buttons were working, and they appear to be working. It's just come on, get in the seat before you crash there, ding dong. All right, and I also like to do things in first person. So right where that, it's probably tough to see, but right where that blue cable is the center. There we go. And so I lined that blue cable up, and when I pulled up, it would centralize it. So we're connected here. All right, so autopilot needs work. Looks like the compass, if you look on Sky's PFD there, the heading's reading 0, so it looks like my compass is not connected properly or not electrified properly. So that it's probably could be electricity. I'm not sure. I think I did connect it, so not a shock to me. But I see still functional here with it. I just can't run the autopilot or the station keeping, all that stuff. So kind of keeping the land to my right there visually. If you look, we have that lighthouse at 12 o'clock low, and that's if we head directly to that, we'll head to Dreimor. So I like to have all my vehicles have their little purposes, and so this is gonna be fun having this helicopter and using it for the career series. It's not ultra fast. Katydid is much faster. Again, that's one of its niches. It has that propeller on it. I can go 132 knots. This here, with container, I'm doing about 30 knots, which isn't bad. You figure if I was using the Mac Pinnacle, I would have to use a forklift, one of my container lifters, to put it on the trailer. Drive out there at 70 miles an hour. We're probably only averaging about 40 at most. With that, so you say averaging 40, I'm doing 35 here, so this is much more time. This saves us a lot of time using this vehicle. That boat down there, not very realistic again, hauling these containers, but again, I don't mind taking a break of realism for some fun here and there. You figure the main issue with the containers are they're probably not loaded perfectly with the center of gravity right in the middle. So loading, like picking a container like this, is tough because your center of gravity is going to be off, and then you want it lined up, especially with a helicopter, the center of gravity of the helicopter. And so when you're not doing that, it's really giving you, you're really having liabilities with stability, the ability to lift it properly. The helicopters, some of the really strong helicopters, I think, what can they do, like 12 tons? So you're only talking 24,000 pounds. These are about half-size containers to most of the real, like the 53-foot intermodal containers. So you're talking, they're about, whoa. So you're talking, one of these containers would max out like some of the biggest heavy lift containers if they were full. So, the container would have to be pretty light to actually be operating that container. You can see it dancing down there. So I have to be careful. That will cause me issues. The rope stretch, caused a lot of these issues as it rebounds too much. But, it's not very realistic to have a helicopter doing this business. There are some cool things that the helicopters will do. I saw some, I think they use a Sikorsky, either the turbine or the piston Sikorskys, that they'll tow those saw blades and actually trim the trees along the rail, along the power lines, because if the high voltage line touches one of the tree branches, it can complete the circuit and blow out the power line. And so those are very efficient at doing it because they're often out in the middle of nowhere. And so you'd have to build a road, you'd have to get the trucks out there, the trucks would be very slow, where you can fly a helicopter out to the middle of nowhere, quickly do it. And so that has a big time savings on efficiency. And the turbine ones probably burn a good bit of fuel, but the old radial ones, probably pretty economical fuel-wise. I don't know what jet fuel's going for these days, but it's not cheap. So like I was talking about before, is I enabled natural disasters, as you can see with the containers being out in the drink, and a bunch of pallets and whatnot out in the drink. And so that was something I decided to do because I think I really want some forest fires. I really could do without the other ones. I'm interested in some of the missions, but the main thing is I want forest fires, and so you kind of need natural disasters to spawn those forest fires. Look at the left of the runway, you can see there's the ADF shack there. Alright, so let's go drop this one over here. I'll spawn the container mover after I get rid of this, and we'll go ahead and bring that outside here where it's out of the range, and then I can spawn Proteus. So let's take a quick pick here. There we go. All right, so this is working well. Again, you know, it's got some things here and there that need fixing, but you know, it works. Just needs to be finished, essentially. So Proteus can now load one container by itself. You still need something to move it up to it, so I'm just going to load it with the container mover anyway, but it can load and unload itself now. At least one container. I'm thinking it's probably going to only be able to load one by itself, but it can also have a crane in there. It can put the gnat in there. I was able to load the mud skipper in there, so kind of neat with that. Let's go ahead, engine off, rotor brake on, master power off, and I'll watch the rotor stop. I like the speed of the rotor stop now is good. I like that. It's nice and gradual. It's not too aggressive. All right, so that's good. Let's go ahead and we'll put this back in the workbench. All right, so we'll get rid of that. I'm going to actually save this. I want to do a save. And that way, if something gets screwed up, you know, it's a good likely that I screw something up. I won't have to pull my hair out doing that all over again. So let's do container. So I worked on this in a video. This is an old design. I used to use this to load my SkyTim. SkyTim's a huge helicopter that can hold 2 containers and vehicles. But we'll get into that at some point. We'll use that. It needs updating. But, you know, I updated this so that it works better. Kind of using some of my new methods, and so this is good because it can both grab the container off the ground, and it can, you know, I have a bunch of different vehicles that can haul containers, and so this can change its height to suit different craft and load them. All right, so I need to go do the bottom connectors on that, but actually I'll do that in a moment here. Let's go ahead and cozy up here. We'll get close, and then I'll set the brake, and I need to set up my connectors here. So that's there, and then this is there. There we go, and then I want to kind of level this out. Kind of see the side, how it's trying to get it reasonably level. And then when I bring the carriage back in, you'll notice how this works. It slides up. So it's a pretty good efficient system to do here. And then, all right, so I want to back this sucker up, and I want to put it, I can lift the front. I want to put it where hopefully spawning Proteus will not recall this to the workbench. How do I do this again? Release, hardpoints, lights. I changed some of the controls, so I need to be careful on how to operate this. Parking brake was on. Okay, there we go. Change the way this works. It has like progressive acceleration, so as you let go, it will brake, and then you'll get a, you know, if you tap it, you'll get really nice slow granular speed, because I was like banging into stuff and everything else. So this has had a nice upgrade. This container mover. I was gonna rebuild and make a new one, but trying not to do that and get into having to make something new every 2 seconds. Yeah, it makes it tough. Get 1,000 projects going, as most people do, it seems. All right, let's grab the Proteus. Now I'm going to take Proteus out of the hangar. My fear is this. My fear is this. Put an APU on Proteus as well. Fear with Proteus is that if I leave it in the hangar, you know how we get that jittery effect in game where things slide? I'll load 2 containers in there, and then it will slide, and I can't get it out of the hangar, and then I have to respawn it, move the containers, and do that. So I'm trying to... So this is my new both crane and container lifter thingamabob. So it works pretty well. Could be streamlined a little bit, but working pretty well. Did some coloration in the floors in here. All right, let's go ahead and master power. Let's go ahead and start the APU. We have an APU now. All right, that'll just give us a little bit of extra power. Engine 1. Let's actually shut engine 1 off. Let's go inboards. Fuel. All right, and so we have those two up. Let's click their gens on, get the power going in addition to the APU. Let's shut the brake off. And I just want to get out of this hangar. Again, I don't have much clearance in the wings. This was built to be within like a block or two of the width. And so I need to be careful that I don't get this hung up this way. If it's outside at least, even if it slides around, I keep damage off just because, you know, silly game things will happen and you'll get some damage. So I can't raise the tail in this one, I don't think. All right, so let's set the brake. This way, if this kind of shudders around, we don't have to worry about it. Let's kill engine 2 and 3. Shut the gens off. Leave the APU running. Doesn't burn that much fuel, and it will keep us powered up. Just going to jump and break my ankle there, and... So I actually haven't tested this with that new thing in there. So let's go and open this up. Let's load up to Prot. Excuse me. And let's go load this up. And should get moving. Getting a little physics slowdown here. It doesn't necessarily surprise me. I've got a lot of stuff out right now. So this has quite a few pieces on it. So. All right, so I'm trying to get this somewhat set up to the height of Proteus. It has hardpoint connectors in the front, which will help with alignment. What's going on here? I actually just put the brake back on. All right, and so let's steer this on, and we will go ahead and load in the 2, and then we'll fly it up to... see where we're on time here. We're probably going to be, when we get up there, I'll unload it. Or I'll just, you know, do that off screen or whatever. Or the next one I'll unload it. Maybe the next one I'll unload it. And then, you know, I can helicopter it. So I need to come down. So down on the front and rear. Okay. Probably still more down. Try to do both at once. There we go. So that lowers us down. I have this camera here, so I get a pretty good view, but I can't really see the top, so I have to double check it down some more. Yep. Lower rear, lower front. There we go. Okay. So it's on a hill too, which isn't helpful here. There we go. Once we get over the crest of the hill, that's better. Just, you know, I'm at the top of the hill and Proteus is below the hill, so let's check the cam here. Camera should snap us to there, so about the middle point. So I notice I made it kind of, you know, checkers there so that I kind of aim at something. That's often you'll see them do stuff like that so that they have better aiming points. Should be right on the money here. Should be close. Trying to see. All right, we're a little bit to the right, so I need to come back. Steer just a little bit here. This will snap once I get close, so just a little bit to the right, about 1 block right. So I should put a dot in the middle for alignment, and then align my dots. So probably right there, put a dot or something. How are we looking up there? How are we looking at the front there? Come on. Did I miss it again? These hard points you have to get pretty close, which is kind of a nice thing. Is, you know, some of them, when they snap too far away, it's very jarring and it break things, and so it's kind of sometimes better to have them have to be, there we go, pretty close. Okay, good. So that's right on the money. Let's go ahead and slide our carriage forward. Set the brake. And there we go, loading in the Prot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in. And with this new crane, this gantry here, I can actually, so, one of the things that was bugging me was I was having to push with my body, and again, my realistic brain was like, oh, that's gross. Um, so I made it so now this gantry will slide forward, and that's more realistic because you have something powered that would drag, these containers could be, 10 tons a piece, and so you don't want something that's too, oh, I forgot that's toggle, not push. Okay. Forget how I set these things up sometimes. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to get this disconnected, and that will roll back, and then I want to get that. Oh, that's fine, so I can reconnect it here. Then let me move that back, see if it will snap. What do we have there? Engage connectors. So I have it as a click on, not a click off. All right, so the connectors aren't working. All right, good to know. So that will, as you can see now, the gantry is actually sliding this back. Now the gantry can actually lift one container and bring it inside by itself. And that also acts as kind of the stopping point there. So now what I can do is I can engage my rear track brakes. That locks track section so that those things won't move anymore, and the containers are now locked on the floor. I want to go ahead and shut this connector off. I don't want my two containers. Now I'm going to engage the mid-track brakes. That will stop it, the front container before it hits this one. I want this gap so I can walk door to door. So a lot of the stuff I've thought about. All right, so now let's bring our carriage back in. Let's go ahead and release the hard points. Parking brakes off. Let's go ahead and back out. Grab the other container. So really kind of streamlining some of this loading procedure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the front in place where it is. I'm going to try to see if I can't grab this container by just lifting the rear. And then that will save me some time aligning it again. It's nice to have the granular control. Maybe what I was thinking is to put two dials to show me the position, and then I can remember, okay, Proteus, it's a 10 and a 5, but like you saw with the hill, the ground's not flat, it's going to change. But once I get around here, I'm going to get a snap of loading Proteus. I think it's pretty cool. Where's release connectors? Connector releases there. There we go. All right, let's get a snap of this. I like having pictures for everything. It's fun to me. Part of the enjoyment for me is kind of reliving the, kind of seeing what it is, and I like having these kind of complex operations. So we'll lower the rear. Go ahead and bring the carriage in. We'll keep the front static where it is. All right, start backing it up. All right, and we'll load number 2. So 2 containers up there. Looking at, what's this? I can't tell but we're in the neighborhood of like 62K for money. Pretty good. And, so we're probably going to bring at least, I'd say at least 50 grand in profit off this run. So kind of hurting in money. Kind of my RP on this was, when we switched to the industrial frontier, the business lost some money. Because we owned a lot of the bases, but I haven't been cheating in money or giving myself money to get the bases back. So, before had the bases bought and I've had to rebuy them, so we've gone down quite a bit of money. But again, I kind of want a reason to go do some of this stuff, and so needing the money helps kind of give me a reason. Like, okay, well, I have to go do some sort of money making endeavor. Haven't been feeling mining lately. But at some point I want to get back on that, and that will be a good money-making endeavor. But having that necessity to go make some money, when you're hurting for cash, that's a good reason to go do something. So, trying to get these hard points to snap. I think I'm a little bit too far in there. A little bit misaligned now. Realign it. So you can just barely hear the old tractor motor there, the new engine sounds for the APU. A little bit high now. There we go. Okay, good. So we're snapped in. Let's send the carriage out. And I'm not going to send it all the way in. Actually, I think it will. If I send it in, it'll be in the right spot. So, all right, that's pretty good there. Let's stop the carriage. I don't want to put any force on things. That's when you can break stuff. Is putting a bunch of force on it. So let's see what it looks like in there. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Can't see. Let's see where we're at here, space-wise. Okay, so the brakes is what's stopping me, so I need to kind of click the brakes here for a second. All right, there we go. Lock those track brakes. So it can come back. No, that's pretty good where it is. I want to make sure I can walk around the front here. It's not a huge necessity to be able to walk around the front, but I can. All right, so that's kind of, I set this up so that you can walk around it. So, all right, so let's go ahead and detach this. That's still off. Let's go back it out. Bring the carriage in. All right, and I will dump this in the hangar. Get Proteus taxied out on the runway probably. You know what I'll do? I'll save this and then try to grab this, and then we'll go. You know, video's kind of going. Hopefully get up to the Arctic in about 20 minutes, and then that will be the end of the video. We'll land in the Arctic. That'll be good. So I put a hook, a hard point hook on there in case I want to tow this. So we'll kind of tow Proteus. We'll kind of see. All right, let's snap the brakes on. Let's go ahead and do that save again. All right, and I want to go and let's recall this one. See, I can't get a recall notice on that. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, there we go. I just want to make sure I didn't snag Proteus back in. That was what I was afraid of. All right, so let's go. A little bit laggy, but it's not too bad. And as we get away from the land here, we'll be good. So. All right, so nice. So we have our containers in. Let's go ahead and shut the nose. Nose door's closing. We're in business here. All right, so the APU is nice because we've been using a bunch of electricity here. So with that APU running now, that's been powering the aircraft and keeping us going. And especially if it was night, we'd want all these lights on, so it'll be burning up a bunch of that. So let's go ahead and... All right, so nose is locked. Let's check our electricity here. Yeah, so see, it's APU is producing plenty of electricity. DRI. All right, so we have our weather on here. Let's go ahead and put a beacon on. Let's go ahead and start them up. Start cross-feeding while I'm doing this. 2 generators coming on. Now, I need to start some other ones here. We've got the wind is pushing us like crazy now. Let's kill this wind for now. It's being unrealistic. Up. You know what it is? I have the thrust up for some reason. It was me. Why is the thrust up? Oh, because I taxied out and I never brought my thrust down. I didn't do a proper stop procedure. I didn't. My procedures were bad. Imagine that. Gen's on. So it was a me problem. It wasn't a wind problem. Let's turn the wind back on. Okay. So that was 100% a me problem. Let's go ahead and we'll set our flaps. There's no tower here. It's a uncontrolled field. Let's check our fuel. Plenty of fuel to get up there. We need about, from here, probably maybe 6,000 pounds total. And so we're rocking about 10,000 pounds. So let's get that fuel cross-feed. Let's fold up our tail. Make a position call. We'll take off. Where's the wind coming from? So you can see the wind's from my right here. So we want to take off this way into the wind. We don't want a tailwind. 4, 6. So we're getting close on a cross-feed here. Because of that crane, I had to redo my whole piping for my cross-feed. It runs all the way back to the tail now. So we're getting close here. I'm going to let it get within... There we go. All right, that's pretty good there. All right, let's go ahead and taxi out. We'll make a position call here. Dreimor traffic. This is 689 Charlie Charlie. We're taxiing to runway. Oh, I don't know what the number is on that one. I wrote it down somewhere, but I forgot. Taking off to the north. I need to call clearance too. Clearance. This is 689. Is this 689 Charlie. Charlie. Looking to file our clearance to Tajin. 689 Charlie. Charlie. Go ahead. 689 Charlie. Charlie. We would like to go Dreimor direct to creative. Direct to via the creative ADF to the shipbreaker ADF direct Tajin. All right, 689 Charlie Charlie, you're cleared. Cleared runway heading up to 5,000 feet direct to creative. After once you hit 1,000 feet, you can head direct to creative. After creative, you can head direct to shipbreaker. Expect the vectors for runway 32 at Tajin. And after 10 minutes, expect flight level 250. All right, we are cleared. Runway heading up to 5,000 feet. Out of 1,000, we'll go direct to creative. To shipbreaker. Expect vectors runway 32 at Tajin. And expect flight level 250 in 10 minutes. 689 Charlie Charlie. Read back correct. 689 Charlie Charlie. Just give me a call when you have taken off from Dreimor. We'll give you a call. 689 Charlie Charlie. Thanks. All right, now we'd actually do this. So let's go ahead. I have to look at the heading when I do that, but we're clear up to 5,000 feet. So 5,000 goes in there. Let's go ahead and we need to put in creative. So I have my paper here. Where's creative? Let's see. So where is it? 800. So that's going to go in here. So we'd set all this up before we take off. I'm going to check my electricity and then probably shut the APU off. Electricity is good. APU's coming off. All right, 800's in there. Let's go ahead and we would want to check it. So 7.6, that looks right. 10 nautical miles. That's about right. All right, so that's in there. I'll do runway heading when you get up there. Dreimor traffic 689 Charlie Charlie. We are back taxiing runway 20 Dreimor. All right, because we're going to be taking an active runway, we're going to light the plane up. That's makes it so that if people are coming in to land, they can see us. As you can see, we're in instrument conditions here, which is nice. This will actually make using the instrument approaches a necessity instead of just for funsies. And so yeah, you see how I'm lighting up my aircraft to I'm going to put up number 4 here to turn us. And then I'm going to bring it back here. We're also going uphill here. That's why I'm going to give it a bunch of power. So we make position calls at uncontrolled airports to tell people what we're doing. All right, let me start powering up. Come on. We're trying to get up this hill. I'm rolling down this hill. I need quite a bit of power to get up this hill. I have asymmetrical thrust into, so I need to fix that some. It'd be much easier in real life with your hands. You can kind of reach across and grab it. Grab the engines you're looking for. Like one is still pushed up. That's why we're still turning. You got to drag it all the way down to match. As you can see now, they're matched out. So there we go. And then I'm definitely gonna need asymmetrical thrust to turn around on the runway. This is kind of a narrow runway with no taxiway, so. So with this weather the way it is, if it's like this in Tajin, we should have no problem getting in. I just need to probably get down to about 200 feet. You wouldn't want to do that on a non-precision approach in real life, but we'll be good in this. So I'm going to hang to the right side of the runway here because I need to spin it. So I'm going to kind of draw an imaginary center line. If you look at those dashes there, if I line my nose up with that middle dash, that should set me pretty good on the right side of the runway. And then I'm going to spin around and I'll put in my heading hold, and so I can pre-select altitude hold. Once I get my heading, which I forget what it is, it'll be, if it's runway 20, it would be, what is it, 020. So let's go ahead and, no, it's 220, so it's runway 22. Let me see. Yeah, it's runway 22, so it'd be 040. Should probably be what it is. I'll double check it before we take off. Alright, so we're getting close to the end here. We don't need this much. Let's go ahead and we'll start coming left here. So I'm going to hit my 3 key to do different. So I'm going to run off the runway just a little bit, but we'll be alright. So engines are all the way back. I'm going to come up on 4 rather. And we'll go hard rudder. Do 90-degree rudder. And we should be able to turn pretty much in place here. I'm going to keep coming up on 4. I'm going to eventually put a camera in the tail that I can access via this page. It's all set up. It just needs, the camera just needs to be put in there. And that way I can see. Yeah, we're a little bit off the runway with the tail wheel, but the mains are still on. Mains are holding most of our weight. But you see with differential thrust, and that tail wheel all the way casted 90 degrees, I can make a nice tight turn here. Dreimor traffic. This is 689 Charlie Charlie. We are position hold for runway 4 at Dreimor. I think it's runway 4. We'll see when we get straightened out here. Alright, it's trying to bring the thrust back here on that engine. And that should rotate us the rest of the way. Alright, takeoff checklist. Flaps are set. Props are set. Lights. Takeoff checklist is complete. Alright, we're taking off here. We'll contact clearance in the way. Out. Set thrust. Thrust set. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. What are we heading? 440 is good. Autopilot's coming on. That's to reduce my workload. Flaps up. Start setting my props. Climb checklist. Flaps are up. Gear is up. Props are set. Climb checklist complete. Alright, out of 1,000 feet, we're going to head direct. So nav. Radio. Up. Nope. Nope. What's up with this now? Are we turning on nav? Okay, that was wrong. I had to pre-select radio too, so heading hold comes off and we'll turn. Okay, there we go. Alright, I'm screwing up my procedures here. That's fine, I've got it now. I was in 10 miles. There's no way that's 10 miles away. 689 Charlie Charlie. We are out of 2,000 for 5,000. 689 Charlie Charlie. Clear direct to the Creator Base 80F. You can climb and maintain 10,000. Direct and 10,000. 689 Charlie Charlie. Alright, so now we're going to swap over to 341 because we're within a mile here. So let's go ahead and click that. And so we're on the 342, is that right? I can't remember. I made an approach chart. I'll look it up here and I'll let you know. Made some plans here. Let me do this here. I'm trying to think. I think I made a chart. No, that's not it. I have to find my charts here. Okay, I'll find my charts. I need to go direct to Shipbreaker, so what I'll do is I'll make the heading here. I don't know. Crap. We're coming right over the top here, so do I have a compass on me? Let's see if I have a compass on me. I don't. Alright. What I'll do is I will cheat here because it should be on the chart. Normally you would have it on the chart, so it's not a big deal to not have it on the chart. So there it is right there. So we want to turn... let's say 345, 345. Let's check that. 350. Let's say 355. Alright, so probably a 350. 350. So we're going to go on the 350 outbound. So this should read the reciprocal of 350. So that's going to be 172. Is that right? 350, 172. No, I guess not. It's 162. Let me look up the reciprocal. Yeah, we should be climbing up to 10,000. I changed that to 10, right? Yep. Okay. Let's see. Was it 350, 350, 170? Okay. So that's currently we're probably too close. We're only that far away. Let's go a little bit to the left here. Let's go 348. I should write this down at some point. Let's go ahead and turn the heater on. I don't have a jacket on, so I'm gonna have to shut damage off. I had one on, and I don't know what happened to it. So, all right. So we're outbound on this. We're gonna track outbound on the 166, so we'll maintain 166 here. So let's take that waypoint and get rid of it. So we're gonna watch 166 as that changes. We're gonna maintain it. Let's check our temps. Temps are good. Fuel is good. All right. All right, so we're doing well here. Outbound on the 166, we're going to maintain 166. Our wind's coming from here, so we expect we need a little bit into the wind to maintain that 166. Let's see where our track is. So you see we're tracking directly from here to there. We actually need a little bit right, so let's go more. Let's go 355. We need some of the wind correction. We're getting blown to the south of the course. Let's go actually more. Let's go 360. Yeah, so this should be 170. This should be reading 170, so I need more to get that up. You see it's climbing now, so that's what I want. I want to climb that up to 170. That's the difference between me kind of arcing a course there and staying on a direct line. Because I have to put in a wind correction angle, so when that hits 170, I can come back, let's say, 5 degrees. All right, let's check our temps. Temps are good. That's good. All right, coming back on the prop some more. So this is reducing my RPM. It's increasing the pitch of my blades. It's going to save me fuel. It's going to make me go faster. It's going to do all sorts of fun stuff. I'll pull back my power just a little bit. We'll do a manifold pressure of 104. Manifold pressure is not reading correct just because these rams are getting all the wind blowing in them, and so it actually reads it off of that manifold intake, so it's that's why it's reading high. They would never be that high in real life, but you know, it is what it is, you know. If I come up with a better way, I'll do it. I still have to fix the ball. The ball is out on this, so doing well on temp. I did a bunch of cooling work on this. All right, so 172, we went too far. We need to go to 350, and then probably 355 is my wind correction angle. I got busy and wasn't paying attention. So we want this to say 170 for most of our trip. Once this gets to about 21 nautical miles, we're going to lose signal, and we have to switch to the shipbreaker ADF. So we're going to wait for that number to come down. All right, so essentially what I'm doing here is I've talked about this before, but I'll belabor the point. So right here is the is that base where we're actually reading from, right? If we drew a straight line from here to our next one, which is shipbreaker, that course is about a 170 course. And so we have a wind from here. The wind is constantly going to try to push us to the west of our course. So if we were heading 350, which is the reciprocal of 170, the wind would push us here, so we would go like this. And we would never get there. So what we need to do is we need to put in a wind correction angle. So we need to actually turn the plane into the wind, and we actually go a little bit diagonally. The planes turn sideways, but we stay on. So see how we've dropped to 171? So once that hits 170, I'm going to put in a 355. That's a 5 degrees into the wind. Now, if that number goes back up to 171 after it's hit 170, I know that 5 is too much. So I would decrease it to, let's say, 2. And then if it drops back to 170, I go up to 3. And so that's how you do it. You constantly are changing your wind angle, your plane's angle into the wind to do that. Now, if we look here, once we hit about 21 nautical miles, which is about 40 kilometers, that's when we're going to lose signal from that station. We're going to be in a little bit of a dead zone, only for a few miles. So if we drew a ring around this of 40 kilometers and we drew a ring around this of 40 kilometers, we'd have a little gap in here. And that gap, actually, I don't think we have a gap on these. These might be close enough, but there might be a little couple nautical mile gap here. All we do is we keep our same heading until we pick this up, and then we track in the 350 inbound. That keeps us on the same line. And that's how you would do it, navigate via instruments. Checking our temps. Temps are coming up. All right, so we are at 10,000. 689, Charlie, Go ahead and climb, maintain 250. 250, 689, Charlie. 2525. So we're climbing again. Temps coming up, that's fine. I'm going to manually deal with that. See, we're still there, so let's go ahead and take off 2 degrees. So let's do 348. So 350 might actually, we're going to need a little bit more than 350, maybe 351, 352. Okay, good. So that's 170 now. So let's do 352. So 352 will give us a little bit of wind correction. That will be a 2 degrees into the wind. So the wind was pretty, I'm trying to think how we took off. We took off runway 4. Wind was over there, yeah. So 2 degrees might be, so if we go down to 169, it tells us our wind correction's not enough. If we go 171, we know our wind correction is too much. So that's how you do that. Checking our temp. Okay, good. So temp's up over 100. Let's back the engines off and go into stasis here. So I essentially want to maintain my temp. I might automate this at some point. What I do is I put a if over 100 degrees and delta is positive, tap down the thrust. But I tend to like to do this stuff manually. Eventually, this panel here is going to be an annunciator panel. It's going to warn us. It's going to have warning and caution messages. And those warning and caution messages are going to ding at us. Warning, high temp when it hits 100. It hits like 105, it will give us caution, which is yellow. Maybe at 95, it will say caution temp. That will get us our attention. We'll get one ding on the buzzer. Yellow message comes up, says temp or engine temp, and that will alert me. Hey, look at your engine temp. Okay, so once I look at my engine temp and I'm paying attention, then once it goes over 100, I'll get a flashing red message that constantly flashes. The buzzer will not go off unless I press a button there that will cancel it, and then it will, every 30 seconds, it will buzz me again. That's how it really does it in real life. It tells you, hey, something's really wrong. Pay attention. Stop getting distracted. Pay attention. Pay attention to me. That's what a warning message is doing. A caution's like, hey, you should watch your temp. And a warning message is like, hey, watch your temp. Watch your temp. Hey, bud, watch your temp. Watch your temp. That's what a warning message does. And so one's yellow, one's red. So warnings will be on this side. The yellows will be on this side. Cautions. And so that's how it works in real life. And you have a little button up here. You can click it, and so the yellow will ding you. You click it, you acknowledge it. Yellow, you can extinguish. Red, it will keep dinging. You press the button. It stops dinging. It stops flashing, but the red message stays up, and that reminds you, hey, something's up. Like fuel imbalance will come up. It will say if this is more than, say, 1,000 pounds out of balance, it will ding me. All right, so we're climbing out at 124 now. You notice we're going slower because we pulled the power, but we're also still climbing. You notice we're about halfway, and we're still going up to about 25,000 feet. Let's actually stop at 20. 689, Charlie, go ahead and stop the climb at 20 at flight level 200. Stopping at 200, 689, Charlie. All right, we don't need to climb all the way up. We'll go up another 4,000 feet. We're going up to the Arctic. We're, also keeping our, we're climbing in altitude, plus we're going up to a colder place, so that will allow me to run my engines a little bit more. You see, I'm just trying to get this in stasis. I want to stay about 100 degrees. That's actually where our highest efficiency is. Okay, so right there, we're still losing temp. I want to just still very gradually lose temp. So manifold pressure is essentially a reading of the power of your engine. See, now I'm too cold without a coat. So at this altitude, I need a coat. So we have an OAT of 6 degrees Celsius. So I need a coat. So I don't have one on. Did I put one? I gotta see if I stowed one somewhere. Ha. Okay, so if I walk, you know what's okay? See the heater? The heater is just too far south, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. It's weird walking around in here. I'm walking funny because the plane is climbing. I don't know why. We feel a little tipped too. I don't know why we're tipped here. Did I put clothes in here? Nope, empties. Okay. So I'm gonna need a coat, or what I'll probably do is just shut off player damage, because I just forgot a coat. I'm gonna put a closet on one side, and I don't know if I'm doing a flight engineer or just a jump seat. Probably a jump seat. This is retro futuristic. I'm gonna make it a 2-pilot cockpit. I was gonna originally do a navigator's station, but I don't think, or do a flight engineer station, but I don't think I'm going to. All right, we're leveled off at flight level 200. Let's check our temps. Temps still dropping. Kick power up a little bit. Manifold, you see I'm increasing manifold. Give it another kick. One more kick. All right, so we're pretty much stabilized there. Okay, so see, we're at 28 miles. That means we're out of range. So next we need to grab shipbreaker. I think shipbreaker is 950. So what I want to do here is I want to go into 950. That's showing me a 348. That is correct. Okay. So I actually want to make that a 350. So that means we should probably, let's trim out to 350. Let's see if that number drops or raises. Sometimes you have to test it by going one way or the other to find your wind correction angle. So we need to start doing time and distance calculations. So time and distance calculations, you're essentially calculating how long is it going to take there, how much time do I have to do, what do I have to do. Now I'm going to do a quick call. 689 Charlie, go ahead and contact Tajin approach on 137.2. 137.2 689 Charlie. 689 Charlie, we are flight level 200. 689 Charlie, just let me know when you'd like to descend. All right, thank you, will do. All right, so we're going to do our time calculation here. So let me do a little bit more. Let's do 345. I want to figure out this heading. I want that on 350 the whole way. So we are currently 17 nautical miles. We want to be down, let's say, 2,000 feet when we hit shipbreaker. So that is 18,000 feet. We're going to be there in 7 minutes. So we need 2,000 foot per minute descent. We need to start descending now. 689 Charlie, we'd like to descend now. 689 Charlie, go ahead and descend down to 2,000 feet. 2,000, 689 Charlie. 2,000. All right, so I'm doing my my time distance calculations. Let's say that didn't tell me my time, which it does. I could figure it out. We're doing in excess of 2 miles a minute. We're doing about 2 1/3 miles a minute. And so if we know that it's 16, we're talking, 8 and then 1/3 off of that. You're talking another 2. So what are we looking at there? 6 and change. All right, so that's how you do those. You fly a lot, you get good at doing that sort of stuff. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to take off player damage just because I forgot a coat, and it should be under that bed, and I just haven't done it yet. So that's just going to keep me from freezing to death. Freezing to death. As you can see, we have an OAT of 0. We're just getting colder and colder. That's good for our engines. As you can see, I can pump them back up. It is very realistic in these types of aircraft to have to pull your engines back. You do not scream your engines in these types of aircraft. They're designed to be commercial aircraft that last a long time. The engines are also overpowered. You're moving huge quantities of weight. You need to go very high power settings on takeoff. And then when you get up into cruise, you do pull them back. You don't go 100%. For example, in the Embraer 145, we would do, I think, 90-something% power on takeoff. If, say, we had a short runway, we could push it all the way up. and we get, I think, like 110%, but you could only run that for a couple minutes at most. So as soon as you got in the air, you'd pull it back, and you'd set it to climb thrust. You'd say set thrust in the air. You'd say set thrust on the ground. Thrust would be set. You'd say thrust set. Then you get in the air, and you go pause rate, gear up, flaps up, set climb thrust, and there was a button you'd press climb, and if it was in the detent, it would now power the engines down to say 90%, so you didn't burn your engines up. You rarely, in these types of large aircraft, go at full throttle everywhere. We are descending into warmer air, so we also don't want to be screaming too fast, so we need to watch that. You notice outside air temperature went from 0 to 3. We're gaining temp, so we have to think of that with how our engines are going to heat. Our current descent rate, let's see, we're 29, let's say 30 feet per second, so 3 times 6, that's 1,800 feet per minute. So we're not going to make 2,000 feet at Shipbreaker, but it's not a big deal. I'm planning ahead. So I figure I want to be 2,000 feet here. I'm trying to think where the wind is. The wind is from here. So it's a crosswind, I think. Let's see, which way we take off here. We took off from Dreimor. Dreimor is here, so the wind is actually this way. Dog's barking. The wind is actually this way, so we're not landing on runway 32 in Tajin. We're going to land on the reciprocal, so we take 3 minus 2 is 1. We'd add 2 to the 2, that's 4, so it'd be runway 14. 689, Charlie. Do you have the ATIS for Tajin? No, we'll go ahead and pick that up. So we'd switch to the ATIS frequency. ATIS is airport advisory. It gives you weather. It gives you all sorts of information like what runway they're using, what approach they're using, runway closures, all that stuff. If there's a crane near the airport. And so we tune in ATIS, it would go, it talks like a robot, but it would say, Tajin ATIS information, Zulu, with, what is it? Tajin ATIS information Bravo 0001 Zulu would tell you what time the ATIS is for. Usually it comes out every hour, unless there's some big weather change. And then it would say that, essentially wind is, I don't know, 050 at 30. Approach for runway 14. ADF approach runway 14 is in operation. So we listen to that. We come back. What did I say, Charlie? 689, Charlie. We have ATIS information Bravo at Tajin. Copy that. Expect the runway 14 for Tajin. Runway 14 Tajin. Thanks. All right, so we know we're going in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come off Shipbreaker, and we're going to have them vector us. And so a vector is a turn given to you by ATC. So what actually we're going to do is we're on the 350 coming up. We're going to stay, he'll probably keep us on the 350. We actually have changed my wind correction. So see that went up. I need to put in a bigger wind correction. So I wasn't paying attention to my course. He knows my course is now 5 degrees off, so I'm too far to the west of my course, so I need to turn to the right. Still coming down at 12,000. Looking good. So he's going to vector us. So actually, I started talking about this, that my altitude we're going to miss 2,000. That's not a big deal. So what he's going to do is he's going to give us vectors. He's going to have us go straight ahead. He's going to have us go straight ahead to about probably here. And then he's going to have us turn to a heading 320 to parallel the runway. Actually, he's probably going to turn us earlier. Let's have him turn us on a vector here and have us turn like, I don't know, something like this. And that's going to give us a vector so that we can turn right around and come back in. So let's do right there. We'll set a waypoint. That's where our vector is going to be. He's going to turn us to go up here. And then we're going to follow the ADF on the 140 course in. And we'll actually use the ADF to do our approach inbound. So it's a little turn there. So you see the numbers going down now, so I fixed my wind correction angle. We're moving back to the east. I put in the wrong correction angle for the wind, so it blew us to the west. Checking fuel, checking temps. Temps are good. Fuel is good. We still have 4,000 pounds. Of course, in real life, that would probably be a little iffy, but not terrible. Um, what did this take? This took me, yeah, so we want more fuel just for IFR minimums, because with IFR, you would need to be able to go to your initial airport, and then you need to go start an approach at another airport. Say I couldn't make it in here, the weather's too low, then I need to have an alternate. Now, the problem is in the Arctic, there is no other airport. So my alternate would have to be back here. So I took off from Dreimor, so the likelihood was I'd probably do the closest one. So let's say Creative would be my alternate, and then an hour after that. So I'd have to have enough fuel to go up here, make it into Tajin, then go here, and then have an hour's fuel after that. And that's all for safety reasons. So, you know, because if I can't see, if the clouds are too low, I have to go somewhere else. So we're descending at 1,800 feet per minute. We're going better than 2 miles a minute. We're going to be there in 2 minutes. So as you can see, we're not going to make it, but that's fine. We're, you know, we're okay, because we're, you know, initially I wanted to get us down to 2,000, because if we're going to land on runway 32, I'd have to turn here about 90 degrees and then come in this way. You notice it's a lot longer trek up here to turn around and come in this way. So that longer trek is what is why I don't care about, you know, that I'm going to miss that altitude. Check in temps. Temps, are you climbing or are you descending? These look like they're climbing. As you see, we're getting warmer. We're up to 9 degrees. Back that off of here. I want to just get this just barely. I also don't need to be screaming at high speed here to use up my time. See, this is almost back to 350. So my new wind correction angle is coming in play. Up too much. So let's go to 355. Hopefully the wind blows us back on course. Let's go 352. Let the wind blow us back on course. We're only 1 nautical mile out. So I'm just going to manually do a vector here. Uh, 689 Charlie Charlie. Go ahead and contact approach on 127.6. 127.6 689 Charlie Charlie. 127 689 Charlie Charlie. We are out of 85 for 2000. 689 Charlie Charlie. Expect the runway 14 ADF at Tajin. Go ahead and turn left to 335 and continue down to 2,000 feet. 335 and continue down to 2,000 feet. We should make that a 330 for and down to 2,000 feet. 689 Charlie Charlie. Why is that turning so much? Why is it still turning? What's going on here? Okay. 300. Give me a 300 heading. Okay, why is it? Okay, was that reading wrong? I don't know. Oh, 330. Okay, 330. I missed the digit. I typed it in wrong. I was going to say, that didn't look right. All right, so 330 is going to take us there, maybe a little bit more to the right. I don't want to cut it too wide. Okay, 335 was good. The 335 is taking us to our vector, so he has manually turned us, right? We passed Shipbreaker, we were close. He's turning us out to our point here, and we're going to turn back in. So we don't need this Shipbreaker anymore. We're on vectors. So what we need to do is we need to set up our approach. And I need to brief the approach. We always briefed our approach. This is how you catch mistakes. And so we switch to our frequency. Because you put the wrong frequency in, you could crash because you're actually not reading the right information. So Tajin is 750. So we're going to go 750. That's convenient. We can leave that. Maybe I did that on purpose. I can't recall. 750. All right, so that's a 157, right? So we're going to be, so that's 157 takes me directly to Tajin. I don't want to go directly to Tajin. I want to come in on the 140. So what I'm going to do here is, this is a little tight. Let's go here. I'm going to turn, I'm going to change my vector. I want my vector over there. So let's do 689 Charlie Charlie. Go ahead and turn to 320. 320 689 Charlie Charlie. All right, so now we're heading on a 320, and so I want to square this up. That was cutting me in too close. Remember, I'm moving 2 miles a minute or better. So I need to come up here, I need to turn, I need to come across like this on a base leg, and then I need to go ahead and turn final and catch that 142. So I think it's I think it's runway 32 going this way, so it should be runway 14 going the other way. Let me see. I made charts. I don't know where I put them though. Made charts. Let's see if I can find them. That would be helpful if I could find my charts. Thought I made a bunch of instrument approach plates, but do not know where I saved them. There it is, IFR right there. Arctic to Sawyer transition doesn't tell me. So I need to make an approach plate for this because I need to have all this information. So we're a little bit wide to the right here, but that's all right. Let me aviate first. It's aviate, navigate, communicate. Got to watch your temps. Temps aren't bad. We're climbing though. I want to get these to just gently drop. You notice we're still getting on 2,000 there. We're doing all right on fuel, a little less than I'd like, but you know, I'll kick on infinite fuel if need be. You know, because again, I didn't have this all planned out right, so. I'm just kind of thinking of some things as I'm doing here. Still climbing. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come up. Now he's going to have us turn here in a second. We don't need to go so wide, so let's go ahead and get our turn in now. More worried about fuel than I am that. So that's 90 degrees to my right, so 340. 689, Charlie, Charlie. Go ahead and turn 040. 040, 689, Charlie, Charlie. So he's going to continue to give us vectors. Go ahead, and we're going to pre-select nav and our radio. Okay, I didn't have radio, so that was giving me wrong information, which actually makes sense. So we are currently 5 miles from Tajin. That makes sense. So if I deselect radio, it's reading erroneous information. If I select radio, it's now reading the correct. Notice the needle. The needle's pointing to Tajin. So I need more turn to the right here. Go ahead and turn right to 060. 060689 Charlie, Charlie. So he's doing the final vectors here. I don't think it's a 090, but 080. 080689 Charlie, Charlie. 080. All right, so now what we're going to do is when this gets close to 140, we're going to turn in. 689 Charlie, Charlie. You're cleared the runway 14 into Tajin. Go ahead and descend to 1,000 feet. 1,000, 689 Charlie, Charlie. So we're cleared the approach, so that means we can do it on our own. I click the taxi light to tell me that. Checking fuel, fuel's fine. Temps are, we still climbing? I want to back it off a little bit. I don't need to be screaming in on the final. My final speed is 50. All right, so as you can see, we're getting close. I don't care about that anymore. We're cleared for the approach. I'm waiting for a 140 on this. So when this gets close to 140, I need to do a 45 degrees to my right. So I want to turn this way more. So let's go ahead and let's do a 100 heading. Let's do a 120. We're already close. Let's do 130. I'd rather chop this in. Let's start slowing down. Gear down. Flaps down. Props to full. My props are coming up here. I need to watch my speed here. I need to watch my temp too. Temp's going down. That's good. Oh, speed's very slow. I might have to put it on shut off overheating. I'm stalling here a little bit. I gotta watch what I'm doing here. Need to bring my speed up here. There we go. Okay. I might have a tailwind a little bit. Okay, see this right here? I need to turn 140 here. I'll let it come in a couple more degrees. And that hits 140. I'm going to go 140 now just in case. 140. All right, I need to go down to let's do 350 feet. This is all happening quick. I'm close here. I'm coming in here on my final. So that I need to go a little bit to the left probably. So let's go 135. Okay, watching my temps here. Okay, temps are good. So I can come down to 50 knots, or 70 knots. I'll try to keep it around 70 knots. Have that good granular throttle control. I can see how I can keep it within a knot. You know, I have my build competition going on now, and I'm very much a stickler for that. And the reason I'm a stickler for that is you need to be able to keep within a knot or two of your speed. That's how you get in trouble. So see, I want to keep in about 70. I want to be on 70. I don't want to be at 71. Don't want to be at 72. Certainly don't want to be at 60. So I am gently changing. So we're leveled off at 300. Okay, so we can just barely see out there. Let's go ahead, check. Okay, what's my... So 140 right there in the money. Let's go 140. Actually, I want a little wind correction, so let's go 138, 139. Okay. So I need to bring this over some more here. 140. Everything's happening very fast right now. So I'm looking for the runway. 689 Charlie Charlie. Go ahead and contact tower at 20.7. 20.7, 689 Charlie Charlie. 689 Charlie Charlie. Inbound runway 14. 689 Charlie Charlie. Clear to land runway 14. Clear to land runway 14. 689 Charlie. Airport's in sight. Autopilot's off. Continuing. Runway's in sight. Landing. So that came late. Power, 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 power. Sync rate, sync rate, sync rate, sync rate. Talking to myself. Perfect. I caught the sync. All right. So that's what it looks like in real life. You see it gets busy very fast. Very busy very fast. I'm going to slam on 3. 3 is going to is my left brake only. I'm going to tap my space bar. Space bar is... Oh, crap, crap, crap. I didn't take all my power off. You do not crash. We're screwed here. We're screwed here. Oh, what did I do that for? That was stupid of me. That was stupid of me, man. Okay, that was super stupid of me. All right, so I just screwed my stuff up here. That was all my fault with... So what did I do there is I kept the power up. I didn't shut my power off, and I was just, you know... It was get there-itis. I wanted to make the turn instead of just stopping safely. So we have a job to do now. 689 Charlie Charlie, you all right over there? Yeah, we're gonna need a tow truck. All right, so we're here. That's ugly, man. All right, so that was me. I didn't bring my power back. I saved the landing nicely. It was the approach. I looked out. I had to look third person to cheat it, but I would dip the nose and see it. And so landed fine. The problem is I still had power in, and I needed to yank the power back. The brakes were enough. I should have just let myself roll down the runway and turn around and come back. But I rushed, and rushing is not good. So let's go ahead and let's do some stuff here. I'm going to try to rescue this. All right, let's go ahead and do... APU's coming on. It is a seaplane, but I don't think I can't. There's too many obstacles in here. I can't get out of here. And so I'm going to try to drag it up this hill. We'll see how that works. All right, what are we looking at for? We're way over on time here. Let's keep it going. I'll cut it in half. All right. Actually, you know what? We'll end it here. In the next video, I will rescue it. Be a good video. All right, so we'll see you there.